Good morning and welcome to KTN Mid Morning. My name is Koi. Now, a number of people take coffee as soon as they wake up, and some even rely on it throughout the day to keep them going. Now, there are many coffee cafes that have sprung up in Nairobi that will cater to your coffee craving at any given time. But how does enjoying a cup of coffee in a Mediterranean-style decor lounge sound? If it sounds good, then for now you can vicariously live through it with the help of the upcoming feature.
Coffee lounge is a very strong, is coming out from a very strong culture where it's a combination of good selected coffees with shisha, which are bringing people together, socializing people.
The bar is the main attraction of Pasha. It bears all the marks of a Moroccan tea restaurant.
Theme was Moroccan or Arabic, but it wasn't supposed to be extreme. We had to make sure that we're just thinking about the culture and the values that they have.
The round countertop is accentuated by geometric patterns all around the bar.
I had to harmonize everything. So that's why I went also for the carving, the sand carving, as you see in the shelves. And also the front of the bar had to be eye-catching. So I used colors that would attract people, make it look nice and elegant at the same time.
Colors in the bar area are enhanced by the white mosaic on the lower counter. This creates a feeling of being in a large, airy space.
I realized that if we put a lot of color, or the art colors, because that's what mostly is used in this kind of interior, I realized that we're going to have a lot of darkness or a dull mood. So the white was just to highlight.
The lounge comprises of a muted color scheme, layered brown and accessories, and a mix of vibrant colors in keeping with the theme.
But in Morocco, they use normal art colors, and sometimes they even use clay or colors that come from nature, even from plants, seeds. But I didn't have that, and the structure that I had already had a plaster wall. So what I did, I decided to study the color scheme. From there, I mixed the colors to get the kind of effect I wanted. Mostly it was art colors, and yellow and a bit of white to bring out the colors. This time I used a rag, so they call it ragging effect. And there was a brush, and then of course later the marine sponge. So there are three tools that I used to bring out the effect that I needed.
The use of poofs helps create more sitting space.
We needed to have a variety, a mood change, so that you don't see everything being, there's no monotony. And about the color, black. I remember somebody who used to make Ford. He said, you can paint them any color if it's black. So black is executive, but we have to be careful also because people have different opinions or views. So if you notice carefully, we mix the colors a bit. There's art colors, brown and beige, just to complement or to remove the monotony.
The main feature of the lounge is a ceiling-colored piece, a fabric draped from the ceiling which adds an exotic touch while partitioning the area to accommodate lighting.
Canopy also was made with idea of making somebody feel really welcome. And it's like you're under an umbrella. So when you come and the usher is there to welcome you, you have that canopy, and it gives you the full mood or the feeling that you're welcome. When it's dark, the ceiling brings about shooting stars, like a clear night.
To unify the space, a large painting is placed as the centerpiece.
The painting was actually the intention or the purpose of the painting was to bring out all the colors together. So it's quite rich if you look at it. The colors are rich, a lot of yellow, gold, and there's also the Moroccan blue. If you look at the shishas which are painted in it.
A small bridge connects the outdoor area to the lounge. The outdoors of Al Pasha consist of 2 large green tented seclusions that have large wrought iron chairs. The colors used style the outdoors while giving you a feeling of Orient. If you're looking for a different ambience to relax and sample a new cuisine, then Al Pasha will give you just that.
Stay tuned for Right at Home, which is coming up next.
Now, the advantages of purchasing an off-plan, actually there are quite a variety. Like, for example, the terms of payments are flexible. You know, as opposed to coming to to purchase a ready-made house where you're expected to probably make a small deposit, and then in a week's or month's time, depending on the completion period, you're supposed to make the balance. In short, when you're coming to purchase a ready-made house, you're expected to have the entire amount there with you, ready, be it a mortgage or cash. But on off-plan, depending on the completion period, you can phase out the payments. Actually, you find some purchasers find it easier not even to seek mortgages to pay cash on an off-plan purchase, where you enter into a special arrangement with the owners, or rather the developers, and you can make piecemeal amounts until the completion. So you have a stretched period of time to complete the purchase price. Also, with of course the consent of the vendor, you can make adjustments and modifications to your house, be it in as much as you may incur some additional costs if you want to make some extensive adjustments to your house. For example, some people want an open plan kitchen, you want to make all the rooms en suite. So as you go along, you can modify your house, changing the flooring. You can modify your house as opposed to buying an already fitted house, where making the changes would be a little bit more costly and sometimes not even possible to do so. You can never compare the price of an off-plan, already a project that has not yet commenced, and a project that is ready. So when you're going to on an off-plan, you'll find that the prices are actually considered it's much lower. So actually it's usually to your advantage. So you can buy a house when it's commencing, or the project has started, or even before it commences. You'll get a very nice discount, pay it in piecemeal, wait until the project is complete, and then finalize on the balance. And when you look at it, you'll find the person who's coming, depending on even the stages at which you come in the project, you'll find probably on the very onset you'll buy it much lower than the person who came in probably when the show house was ready, or maybe it had been constructed to a certain level. And most definitely it's going to be much lower. I mean much lower than the person who comes in when the project is complete. There are those procedures that a purchaser is supposed to follow. That is their due diligence, conduct the searches, ensure or rather establish that the title is valid, and ensure that the buyer is actually the truly registered owner of that property. That is their due diligence. But for What they just need to do is place it for sale, and once the purchaser has conducted their due diligence with the advocate, then the buyer can have his advocate prepare a sale agreement. Once a sale agreement has been executed, then from there it's only the owners of the buyer to ensure maybe the land rent and land rates are paid, and to ensure he obtains the clearance certificates and to obtain a consent from the Commissioner of Lands. And then once he does that, together with the signed transfers and the original title, he hands them over to the purchasers, and his role is basically done.
Let's hear from our speaker on Eve Sisters coming up next.
When I was born into this world, you were born into this world. We were handed what I call, the next slide please, a capital trust. What is a capital trust, Dr. Trimm? Well, we know what capital is, right? Wealth in the form of money, other assets, and valuable resources. So what does a capital trust look like, and why is this important? Can anybody tell me what a trust is? Okay, here's Trust 101. I know you want to tell me, but you don't want to embarrass the person on your left and right and make them feel insecure because of your intelligence. So I'm going to cover you right now. A trust is the valuable resource, assets, and wealth owned by a particular entity minus its liability. That's what a trust is. The 12 forms of capital are given to us as a trust. We don't own it. We're going to pass it down to the next generation. We have to then, we have the responsibility of not only responsibly utilizing it, but increasing its value. Are you still with me? So if we have these 12 forms of capital, and they're given to us as a capital trust, what is necessary for us to do with the capital trust? Let's look at the next slide, please. Is to recognize with this capital trust who actually utilizes it and then puts capital back into the capital trust. In the next slide, which is very important, we've got to know who has the right to access it, but also who has the responsibility to make sure that long after we die, we have not raped the capital trust, leaving nothing for the next generation. It's interesting, as I was playing with this and toying with this, I've been toying with this almost 18 months, trying to explain, how do I really explain what this capital trust look like, the implication for business, the implication for government. How do I go about explaining this so that the average person understands? How would I explain it? So I did it like a house. These are the pillars. And I'm going to show you something that is literally going to blow your mind. If we are not aware of all of the other capitals that's available, you could take all the pillars out, and one by one, you're going to notice that the capital trust is going to be tilting, tilting, tilting until the whole thing collapses. This is what's happening in the average African nation. But listen to me carefully. Not only the average African nation, the average European nation. Hold on 1 minute. Not only the African European nation, the average Asian nation. Hold on 1 minute. The island nations. Not only the island nations, South America, all the nations in the world are saying, listen, we're not steady economically. What can we do? And we keep going back to an old model, Adam Smith, 1776. We have changed. We've had 40 different shifts. And it's tilting and tilting, and the world is shaking. And they're saying, what do? We need more money. So let's print more money, more money, more money. Hyperinflation, bam, there goes Zambia's dollar. They cannot keep up with it because every single day they woke up and the value of Zambian dollar just kept decreasing and decreasing and decreasing until it just did not make sense printing anymore. A friend of mine said that he had a church service one day and they brought in so much Zambian dollars that they counted it, and it took them until Thursday to count it, and they didn't have enough of Zambian dollars to keep the lights on. This is what's happening with hyperinflation. It's happening in Canada. The Canadian dollar is stronger than it's ever been, but it's hyperinflation. It's not real. And so what they did with that was they said, oh, our dollar is stronger. And guess what the world said? We're not buying any more of your cheese. There's got to be a better way to do this. And doing it means that we have to understand the economic utilities. Who is using the capital trust? So can we look at this? At the top, the first one is the individual consumer. The second one is the financial institution. The third one is the corporations and small businesses. The fourth one is social institutions. The fifth one is government and government regulatory bodies. And the next one is community organization. And then the final one, listen to this, are your NGOs and faith-based organization. We've got to throw the faith-based organization, not just churches, but synagogues. These are not only the utilities, but check this out. They are also the trustees. It almost seems as if it is convoluted. How can I be the trustee and how can I also be the utility? It is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. Let me talk to you about my business. November, I said this cannot go on any longer. So I shut my whole corporation down, shut it down. Bam, no employees. I discharged the liabilities. And in January, in the middle of recession, I started a brand new corporation. And by July, my corporation was already a multi-million-dollar corporation. How could you shut down something that is bleeding money, create a new corporation, and now you're making money? It is because I changed the model. Do the same, get the same. And it took me a lot of courage. Why? It took a lot of courage. Why? Because I was not only the beneficiary, I was the benefactor. I was not only the utility, I was also the trustee. And I had to recognize what hat I was wearing. You are not only the beneficiary. You are not only the utilities. You are also the beneficiary. You cannot just take money out and keep it for yourself. Money is meant to circulate. And if it's not circulating, you are going to cause recession to a depression until your entire economic system collapses. How can we avoid this in Zambia? You cannot keep saying we're going to change and write a new constitution and we're going to do this. And then you're saying think outside of the box, not recognizing that you're only deceiving yourself. Because as long as you think outside of the box is still your reference point. Do the same, get the same. We don't need any more people thinking outside of the box. We need a new box, for goodness sake. Everybody's talking about they want a piece of the pie. I don't want a piece of the pie. I don't even want the pie. I want the pie factory. Let's not ask for a piece of the pie. Let's not look for the whole pie. Zambia, let's go for the pie factory. Let Kenya. Shout it to me again. I just came from Zambia. If you can't love the one you want, love the one you're, and I'm with you. And if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. You know, I mean, Kenya. Dr. Trimm, have you been cheating on us with Zambia? Is there something you need to tell us? Before we sign the prenup, is there something you want to tell us? Let's go to the next. Let's look at this one more time as we isolate the utilities as well as the beneficiaries. Let's go to the next slide, please. I want to jump over all of this. Again, when we talk about the individual consumer, the financial institution, all of the 6 utility. Are you understanding this? Are you still with me? Are you still with me? Yes. This means yes in Zambia. Are you still with me? Yes. All right. Let me just give you a little bit more, and then I'm going to be finished with you. Let's look at this. And let's look at this as objectively as we possibly can. We need to take our capital, and we have 12 forms of capital. Are you with me? We need to convert it. This is where you create an economy. But I wasn't talking about creating healthy economies. I said developing true wealth of nations. Because wealth is the only thing down that you can hand down from one generation to another. You can't hand a job down. You hand wealth down. Where would our generation have been if our forefathers was talking wealth and not money? Where would we be? Let's think about this for a moment. We cannot possibly be building a Zambia for us. I said Zambia, I know what I'm saying. Because after we finish with Kenya, we're going to double back and offer our model to Zambia. And after we offer our model to Zambia, we're going to offer our model to Burundi. After Burundi, we're going to offer it to South Africa, to the Netherlands, to Russia, to the United States of America. Why? Because we are in the race. Are you following me? I knew exactly what I was saying then. You know I love you. So let's look at this in creating a model. And I hope you're getting this as businessmen, as decision-making businesswomen. We have the capital trust. The next thing with the capital trust, it has to be converted into currency. When you convert it into currency, you have an economic system. But we need to move beyond the conversion into currency, and we need to leverage.
Pasha is a great place to relax and have your morning refreshment. It's also a good destination for formal meetings and socializing with your buddies. Mid-morning at standardmedia.co.ke is our contact. Do not forget to check out our Facebook page. It's called KTN Mid-Morning. Drop in a comment and like the page if you enjoy the features. Goodbye for now.